Hello, all. Dr. Fox back here with you, the weekend update. And of course, Miss Mora. Can't be a weekend update without Miss Cutie. I know, she's sleeping. I'm sorry, baby. Happy Easter. Happy Noble Garden. We'll get into that when we get into the calendar. I love my calendar. Kitties. That's why I paused, because I was thinking of the song. I'm like, wait, I gotta do it out loud. Gosh, it's been nuts around here. If you can hear the AC in the background, I hope my voice comes through okay. Sadly, I can't use an external microphone on this. It's been giving me issues in this setup. I know, right? And we just got so much more. Let's get into this, shan't we? Dr. Fox back here with you with the weekend update. Happy Easter, happy Noble Garden, as I mentioned in the little opening there, as I kind of setting up for what we're going to talk about today. I hope we can hang in there. It's been very muggy down here. For those that are used to it, my hat's off to you, because usually I can barely get through it during the summer, and I don't function very well during the summer. So I just hope you can hear me okay. I have the AC running in the background. Miss Moore is keeping me company, and we're trying to plug through this. It seems to be about every couple weeks or so. And of course we had that kind of that little calm before the storm, if you will, and lull, and we'll get into that. Of course, they're going to have that big announcement for next expansion, and of course all the theories have been coming out. Of course, even I've added my own theories on a few of those as well over the years. My hubby had bought me a couple of new ones of these, so these ones here, that so I can stay a little bit cooler anyway as well. The Creation Catalyst had dropped last Tuesday as well, along with Legion Time Walking, and including the Legion Keystones that you can get by an NPC by the Vault to try some higher level Keystones as well. That came. I'm excited. I finally got my Legion Time Walking mount. Finally, all I have left now is like 2 recipes from Cataclysm. By the time that comes back around, I coulda. We ran out and did the 5. We tried for another 252. I got another weapon again. And I'm like, oh, I wish these weren't soul bound. I wish I could just give these to my alts. But I'm excited to see what my hubby gets for a piece of gear as well, because he didn't get a chance to turn it in yet to see what he got. I ended up jumping onto one of my alts, and we ran it one more time, because I had 5 in to run time walking. You need 5 quests to get this 252 piece of gear, and I had ran 5 and he had 4, so I jumped on my alt over here, the demon hunter you see in the background, Chiana, with an extra A, because I couldn't get the Chiana name. I tried, but sadly it was taken on this server, ironically enough, being the RP server, which makes sense. That a lot of folks will do that. As well, the other week, sadly, because I couldn't get on last week and we had other things dropped the week prior, like the Pokepo I almost want to say transmog, I guess, but they had those little implements that were starting to drop as you'd see them come from, whether you picking up treasures or taking down an elite or something like that, and we're getting ready for that as well. When it comes to Zegramoris, actually, or Zerith Mortis, excuse me, the way I pronounce it. Those that know my channel know I tend to botch these names. I don't care how many times I hear them online or hear them in other locations, I still botch them. Even when I put little hyphens in the way I write, and it's still, look, you want to see how bad I write? Yeah, literally, we call that chicken scratch or doctor write, and that's true. When I was doing a lot of the doctor stuff, it was just a scribble most of the time, excuse me. So, but speaking of that, no Transformer reveal this week, but to kind of get into what I've been working on, that's what I did. We did the time walking this week. We got the mount. I'm literally about, after I do today's dailies, tomorrow's, most likely, if I did my math correct, I'm most likely going to hit Exalted with the Enlightened by Monday, Tuesday no later, because by then they reset and give you like 2,000 you get for the week, which is fine, because I could just wait it out and enjoy Easter without worrying about doing my dailies. but it's been kind of a nice routine. But we can barely get in there and get it done. Like I said, the internet. Speaking of that, of Legion time walking, we tried to queue. We got the Black Nook. I can't even say it now. Black Rock Nook dungeon, something like that. The one in Legion. I think I would know that because again, I'm slipping up. I'm just having one of those memory lapses again. And we had queued for that. We got about halfway through it, and everything went down. We're like, what? I'm like, we didn't get kicked. And then it said, servers are full? I was like, there's a lot more players down right now. I was like, what? I'm like, I know it's a weekend. I'm like, did everybody suddenly come back? Only to find out the following day that the servers were down. So they weren't for long. But as long as much we checked it. But at the same time, we have such spotty internet. We're like, okay, it's either our internet or something's wrong with the server. So we checked, and sure enough, no, well, not all the servers. We checked. There were some servers still up. But Nasdajar and a few other servers were down. And I don't know whether that was a cyber attack, because I saw an article on it, but it didn't cover what it was. Or whether they were just because Microsoft has been purchasing whether they're maybe moving their hard drives to a new location, something like that. I mean, sometimes they can do that through the cloud, but we know that's a lot of data. You just want to grab the box, take it to your new location, and plug it out. A lot like Upload, if you will. For any of those that know the Upload show from Amazon, I've been watching season 2 a while back. We haven't been able to stream anything. The very little. I think we attempted Halo for a little while. We're pretty much, thank goodness for my antenna, we've pretty much only been able to watch local stuff. So I've just been going between Comet's on most of the time, to be honest, in the background. Of course, not this morning because it's paid programming. But I do other things. I think I stick on One Magnificent Morning in the background. That one comes on one of the local stations. And I just leave that there for now. Or sometimes I put just the radio on while I'm kind of putting around on them on the Saturday mornings. But we're going to be celebrating Easter a day early. So happy Easter. And sadly, there was an old friend, but there was some complications with that circumstance. And he had passed away recently, and I'm just sending out a shout out for others for the individual as well. With that, because what reminded me of that is a lot of times we used to celebrate, like sometimes we'd celebrate like 6 days later, or like my birthday 6 days later, like we did. If anyone knows my Facebook from like way back in like 2010, I think we had done a small birthday celebration. I was so proud. I was excited because it was like my first birthday card that actually said daughter on it, and I cried and had a emotional weekend from that. But anyway, that was like 12 years ago. So I'm still my age a little bit. But I think with that, I'm almost there for the A to Zereth Mortis achievement. I think I'm still, I don't know, it's so spotty. It's been really difficult. So what I've been doing on the side is we had our alts. So I've been playing around with one of the alts I have. And I've just kind of doing a little few things, like I did a couple pet battles, things like that, just something I could still do a little. To be honest, I hadn't played it in a really long time, and I actually saw one of our guildies from like the Transformers, the Matrixes, I think is our guild, and on the Transformer Earth Wars game on iPhone and on Android. I hadn't played that in a really long time, and a couple of the raids came up this last week, and someone had played like a really chunk of it, this one guildie for the Autobot. So we only have like a couple characters on the Autobot side anyway. And I had put an alt, so I was playing a little bit of an alt. Also, not just the alt on... I'm pointing to my other computer right now as well. So I'll fire that up sometimes. But I try not to plug in too many things, because we had a power outage the other, but that was because of the storm, and I just don't want to overwhelm. We only have a few outlets in here, and I'm trying not to run more than 2 laptops at a time. Normally, I don't even do this. Like, I don't usually have all these lights on, and I'm just doing it for lighting today and things like that. So, but just trying to do a few little things in game 2, but it's been very hard to kind of get out. I did finally have the strength to get out. And we ventured to the Dollar Tree and Walmart. I was pretty exhausted pretty quickly, but I was proud of myself for having the strength to at least get out for a bit. But we attempted it, right, sweetheart? Yeah, yeah. I was just reminiscing. Reminiscing. But with that, anyway, we're doing so to lead back. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna have like a little ham. We found like a little half ham. Sometimes we would do like a big round ham with like the little bone in it, or we would do like a half ham and cook that with some pineapple. Or when we're really having a rough time and most of the ham's already gone, normally I would shop in advance, but sometimes you can't do it, especially here with a small refrigerator. You have to really do get just a few things. So sometimes we'll even do like the canned ham, and they have ones with little pineapples in them. I almost did that, but I'm grateful. My hubby found a half ham the other day, and we're gonna cook that up today. We got a little package of like, I think it's like chives or something, a potato, and then we got some little gravy. We're gonna do that. And he was a superhero when he bought me this big bag of Cadbury eggs. I don't normally eat those, not the little Cadbury eggs, or not the Cadbury chocolates in the little individual wrappers, but like the big round Cadbury's where you bite into them. And I'm not talking like the little fudgy ones with the little shell on it. This is like the chocolate shell, and then it's got all the oak goo in it. Some don't like that, but I love it. I especially now that they come out with the rotten egg during Halloween. I like that one because they use like a green food coloring, which kind of reminds me of like the fell from what you see in the background here in the game. Anyway, I could talk for hours, but with that, I think that's our celebration for the weekend. We're going to do something small like that. If I had gotten some Easter eggs or something, like the little, we used to dip those a long time ago. It's just not feasible to do that situation here. We would have done it tomorrow, but we got it, and we're like, you know what, let's put some pineapple on the pizza. We made some little homemade pizzas, and we're like, we were trying it. We were gonna go ham with some small slices of ham on there to do ham and pineapple, the Hawaiian pizza. There we go. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, I think with that, we're going to kind of wrap it up. Let's get into the calendar. I love my calendar, kitties. And you might have noticed that one was leveled 53, my Chiana. I've been kind of putting around with her a little bit as well. Every once in a while, I'll run out and just do a couple pet battles or something. Nothing too ecstatic because, like I said, this internet here just does not bode well for us. Of course, one of the biggest things that we're going to close this out and talk about is April 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific. And then we have noontime Eastern Standard Time. Now, I've not lived in Central Time before. Oh, no, wait. No, I did temporarily for Fort Leonard Wood, but I didn't have all the internet and everything back then, so I think it's like, okay, yeah, that's an hour earlier, so I'm assuming that's going to be 11 a.m. Central Time. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think that's correct. So I think it's sent on April 19th. But with that, we got Time Walking wrapping up this week as well. Of course, Noble Garden's going to pop starting Monday. I could have sworn, maybe it's just me, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Mobile Garden, does it always start on the day after Easter? I thought a week into it was Easter, or Noble Garden. Sometimes in the calendar they would put it like before, and it would end on Easter or be Easter, and then we celebrate it for 2 weeks. I guess it has been like that for a really long time. I don't know why I'm just thinking that, but Noble Garden pops. It's gonna start dropping on Monday. We have the PvP gravity laps as well. That should be wrapping up this week. We have Comp Stomp, that's beginning for you PvPers out there. Battleground bonus event, that's beginning. And then, of course, any other dungeons and whatnot that you're running. And, of course, we'll have if there's a big announcement and they have a huge reserve, like there's most likely, for those at a data mine, most likely we're going to see the base for pre-ordering the software, the heroic, and they didn't call it mythic. I was like digital deluxe or something like that, like the high or epic. I think it was epic. Yeah, it was the epic and the digital version. And I've been doing digital versions since Miss Pandaria. But then there was this little surge of like wanting to recollect some of the pets, and I ended up getting some of the mouse pads and whatnot, and it was kind of nice to I think this one is the Wrath one from Collector's Edition right there, that I still use it to today. And I dig out the Outland sometimes for my hubby to use when we were at home, but I think that's the only, that and Shadowlands I think are the only mouse pads I brought with us this time. So, but we'll have to see how that kind of unfolds. That's coming up here on Tuesday, so get it ready for lots of reveals and other announcements and things like that as well. I know coming in May we have supposedly the mobile game being announced. I know I saw something about, maybe this was a fan fiction or something data mine that I didn't know about. There was a mobile game about the little characters from Miss Pandaria there. Trying to remember, Chow Chow or no, it. See, I knew I was gonna do that. Like him and the little girl, I forget her name now. I don't know why, because I played Heroes of the Storm and I used to play her sometimes, and I used to love that storyline. I played that with so many alts, leading them up almost all the time. When I do my intro, I go up to where he's sleeping down over the hill, and then they come up, and then I do that one quest, and then I fly over the valley of the and set up my gardens for like, I literally all my alts have their gardens. I think I've exalted all of them pretty much. Even on my any alt accounts that I had used temporarily, I remember doing that too, like grinding that out too. It's really silly, but I think with that we're gonna kind of wrap it up. I think we'll leave it at that. You may not see me again for a couple more weeks. I know there'll be a lot of big announcements dropping. I wish I had an opportunity. I wish we had better internet. I wish we had a better setup, and I wish I could go live on Tuesday and watch along with y'all. But we'll have to see what announcements drop, and I guess we'll have to discuss them. My news will be coming a bit late. Everyone else is going to hear about all this stuff all throughout as the later part of the early to mid-week dropping of these folks jumping in, and some will do it live, some will watch it, and you'll have all the information right there, and we'll have to share and kind of go from there. So I think with that, let's have a good week. Let's hope for something Dragonblight, or have they been maliciously dropping that into data mining and go, nope, we're going to change it all together. It's going to be a whole different announcement. But I don't know. I really think it's going to be dragons, because at this point, because we saw we could sit here and speculate all day, but that dragon isles have been announced ever since vanilla came out, and I think this will be sort of a good end to kind of wrap it up, whether we're going to get another expansion or not at this point. I most likely would get, I mean, I'd be very content and happy with just 10, and others might say not, and then they can start developing for WoW too, and in the meantime they could be like, that's good. That's good, because I still have a lot to catch up on. A lot of people like, I'm done in a couple days or whatever, and they grind it all out. They're like, I'm bored. I don't have bored. I always still have something to go back and I gotta do. It all depends on how you play too. I mean, it's all good. I'm just making kind of a joke, a little satire about it. But I'm like, it'd be great if this is the final one, and then it came to like Xbox and PlayStation 5. I don't know. Maybe that sounds blasphemy for some. I'm with my poor fingers, I'm ready for a controller instead of trying to use a mouse, because I can't even use like the regular mouse. This one aches my hand so bad, even with the clicker. I can't do that. I've had to spend like $55 to get the trackball style. I have to use this. This is like the only thing that gives my hand relief anymore as well, and that's just what works for me. But everyone's got their own. So with that, let's try to stay safe. Have a good holiday. Find a way to get you through it. I know these holidays can be rough when you got to go deal with poopy people and attitude and family issues and other things going on. But you can find your small moment of zen in there somewhere. I think with that, let's have a good week. Plug through, and you know the drill. We will see you later. I know. Mwah.